What's going on, my Jack brother? Coach Scott here. In today's video, we're going to compare free weights versus machines and which is best for improving your physique. Now, according to the research, both are equally as effective at building muscle. So really, it comes down to personal preference, what suits you best, what's going to allow you to get the most out of your training sessions. Now, still, it's important to consider the pros and cons to both free weights and machines when deciding how to incorporate them best into your overall training plan. First, let's take a look at the pros of using free weights into your training plan. Number one is I love that it's more free-flowing. It's more of a natural movement pattern that suits you, your body, best. So it's very easy to make subtle little adjustments to your technique to alter the movement in a way that's going to feel best to you and your body, your own personal structure there. It's also great for improving upon, because there's a certain amount of coordination involved when using free weights, it's great for really stabilization, so working the stabilizer muscles, which is great for improving your joint health, your joint strength, joint stability. So really important to work that in your training. And it's great for kind of identifying muscle imbalances and weaknesses. It's fascinating to hear from people when they just get into training and they recognize that, holy smokes, one arm is much stronger than the other, or I have a lot less balance with one leg compared to the other. Maybe even you notice that you are a little bit stronger on the outer aspect of one thigh, and your inner thigh is a little bit more weaker, so you notice certain movements you're pulled a little bit more to the outside. So again, using free weights allows you to again become aware of some of these imbalances, some of these weaknesses, some of these instabilities within your joints as well. So really great in that regards. Also great for, when it comes to free weights, easily accessible, easy for home gym use as well. So really fantastic in that regard. So definitely a lot of pros when it comes to using free weights, but there's also some cons, especially if you're dealing with an injury, with maybe your wrist, your forearms, your elbows, your shoulders. If you're doing a dumbbell bench press or a dumbbell shoulder press and you're trying to kick those dumbbells up, it can cause a lot of pain, a lot of discomfort in those areas. The dumbbell bench press might feel just fine once you get it into position, but it's just kicking that way up can cause some discomfort there. Other cons with the free weights could be with the barbell bench press, barbell bicep curls, limiting with wrists. Maybe it can bother your wrists, maybe it can bother your shoulders. If you're doing a barbell back squat, you may find discomfort with your lower back. And I think there's a lot more risk when it comes to training technique. There's a lot more room for error. There's a lot more to master in regards to those movements. You need to have a lot more awareness. Highly recommend that you record yourself performing a lot of these exercises with free weights to make sure that your technique is on point. Maybe you catch yourself, you're squatting and you're leaning a little bit down too far and peeking your butt up a little bit too high there. You look for certain little cues or certain little mishaps that you may not feel when you're performing the movement, but you see yourself on camera, you're like, oh, I need to make a little correction there. Other in regards to using free weights, when you want to challenge yourself, when you want to train to true momentary muscular failure, if you don't have a spotter around, you better make sure that you're lifting in some sort of squat rack with safety pins, whether you're squatting or bench pressing, just to make sure when you get to that point where you're at true momentary muscular failure, you're not putting yourself at risk and in harm's way of kind of having that bar fall your jump. We've all seen those epic gym fails there. You don't want to be one of those people. It happened to myself, my late teens, maybe early 20s, doing an incline bench press in an empty gym, ego lifting, trying to squeeze out one extra rep there, pushing it to true moment, beyond the point where momentary muscular failure coming down. I'm not going to get this back up again. And I was that guy who what am I going to do? It's stuck. And I wait for 30 seconds, 60 seconds, still couldn't get it back up. All right, time to drop it one end, plates slide off, and the bar shoots right back up. And that caused an injury in my shoulder that still kind of lingers to this day. It reaps its ugly head every once in a while. That's from me not being too smart in my late teens, early 20s. So certainly some risk involved in free weights in addition to the benefits there. Now let's talk about the pros of using machine exercises in your training plan. Number one is that they allow you to target a muscle group more precisely. For example, the leg extension is fantastic at isolating the quadricep muscles. And because there is less stabilization and coordination involved in machine exercises, it can allow you to focus more on the target muscle. For example, the machine chest press, because you're not worried about the dumbbells, the stabilization and the coordination of the dumbbells, you can focus specifically on your pecs doing all the work there, focused on that simple movement pattern there. You can get a greater mind-muscle connection with your pecs. Also, there's different kind of resistant patterns with machine exercises. For example, with a dumbbell fly for your chest there, you get up to the halfway point here, you start coming upwards more, you're not creating the same kind of tension on your pecs. You actually lose tension on your pecs, and more of it just kind of going through the joint there. Whereas if you do a machine fly or a cable fly, you're feeling tension through that whole range of motion there. Same thing with a cable lateral raise versus a dumbbell lateral raise. With the dumbbell lateral raise, once you start getting down towards the bottom range of the motion there, you lose tension on the delts there. Whereas if you use cables, you're getting that tension coming right from the bottom. You feel tension immediately through the full range of motion, so all the way from the bottom to the top. Even with an exercise like the cable bicep curl, it creates a different kind of feel, a different kind of resistance than when if you're doing an easy bar curl. It's just because the resistance is coming more on an angle, it's a little bit different than gravity pulling that barbell straight down. So it just offers different resistance through the entire range of motion, and just a different kind of resistance in regards to the angle that you are moving the weight through space there. So again, just different things to consider in that regards, as well as the safety issues when it comes to using certain machines. I love the hack squat machine because I can really drive my lower back into the padding there. So I haven't done a barbell back squat in a few years now. I just feel way too much tension in my lower back. I just don't like having that load on my spine. But when doing the hack squat, no back issues at all. So again, when I'm doing a barbell back squat in my head, I'm just thinking about my back. I just got the safety of my back. Whereas with the hack squat machine, I am focused on my legs doing the work. I'm just focused on movement and giving my best effort. There's no really fear involved because there's a lot more safety involved in that exercise. It's also great when you're like fatigued towards the end of a workout. Say a machine shoulder press is great if you just don't have that, the stability. When you're fatigued, again, you could be at more risk of injury there, but when you have a more stable movement like a machine shoulder press compared to a dumbbell shoulder press, it can just feel better. It's just easier for you to get through towards that end of the training session there. So again, I think safety is a huge thing when it comes to the pro of using machine exercises as well. One of the downsides of machine exercises is that it keeps you locked in a movement pattern. Not every machine is built for each body out there. And same thing with handle and grip positions, much like I was talking about in regards to like a barbell exercise. It may bother your wrists, may bother your shoulders. Same thing with certain machines, which is why I really love certain converging chest press or shoulder press machines where the grip is kind of angled a little bit. It's a little bit more neutral position, a little bit easier on the shoulders, a little bit easier on even the elbows and the wrists there. But it starts out in a wider position and comes in closer. So it mimics kind of the range of motion as a dumbbell. So you get a great contraction at the top because the hands are coming closer together. Great stretch in the bottom. But again, it allows you a little bit more freedom with the wrist. Because again, when I'm doing like dumbbell bench press and stuff, I do like the freedom that, like I was mentioning earlier, the flow of the movement. It's more a natural movement pattern, but I like the freedom to, like, if it doesn't feel right with my palms facing forward, I can tilt them, angle them in a little bit. I can bring my elbows in a little bit. I can bring the dumbbells a little bit more forward. Where you don't have that same kind of freedom when you're using machines. So a bit of a limitation in that regard. So again, like I said, there's pros and cons to both the machine work. Again, another pro with the machine work is, again, if you don't have a spotter with you, it's very easy to get that weight up. Or again, when you're doing a machine chest press, you're bringing it down to the bottom position. If you can try to force up that last rep with good quality form, still you're just trying to push it up with all that you got. You don't have it, boom, you just let it come down. Safe, no risk of injury there, and dropping it down on your shoulder. And if you are dealing with an injury, like I said, with the wrist, the forearm, the elbow and stuff, and the difficult part is kicking the dumbbells up for a dumbbell shoulder press or chest press, again, machine work, you're right in position there. You don't have to worry about any of those things. So more pros for the machines there. So really the bottom line is, when you're trying to choose different exercises, whether machines or free weights, into your training plan, is what at what stages of the workout do you want to focus more on stabilization, where you want to incorporate more stabilizer muscles in there, do more compound lifts where you're working multiple muscle groups at once, trying to get more bang for your buck there, and what points in the workout do you want to incorporate more exercises that are a little bit safer, a little bit more stable for you, so you don't have to worry about those stabilizations. So again, like I said, like towards the end of the workout where you're feeling a little bit more fatigued, that may be a great opportunity to incorporate some machine work in there. And again, when you want to isolate certain muscle groups, that's definitely when I really like to incorporate a little bit more machine work in there as well. So really, again, there is no right or wrong. It's what suits you best, what feels best to you. So if certain machines cause you discomfort, if they don't suit your body well, work with dumbbells instead in that regards. And if certain dumbbell exercises make it a little bit more challenging for you to, again, if you're dealing with an injury there, that's when you can work in machines. And if you want to work through different resistance, if you find that you're really weak in the lateral raise at the bottom portion of the movement, use cables instead. Build some strength up in that regards. And if you want to get like a better contraction with your pecs, instead of doing dumbbell flies where you can only feel that tension in the bottom half of the movement, work the machine fly or cable fly where you get that tension in the pecs throughout the whole range of motion. So again, they all have their place in your workout. And again, it's all going to suit whatever suits you best and your available equipment at the same time. If you're at home and all you got is dumbbells, clearly the whole pros and cons of the machines isn't going to do you much good, because you can gain just as much benefit from the free weights as well. So those are my insights on free weights versus machines. Again, they're both equally as effective at building muscle. It's just a matter of working them into your programming that in a way that suits you best, that suits your body best, and allows you to get what you want out of your training. Again, if you want to improve your joint stability, joint strength, again, I think dumbbells, barbells, all that stuff is very beneficial for you in that regards. But again, if you want to work around an injury and stuff like that, machines can be fantastic. I would love to hear your insights. Please do me a favor and drop a comment down below to let me know what kind of, is there a certain ratio that you work in, machines versus free weights, what suits you best, what feels best to you. Again, share your thoughts down in the comment section below. I hope you enjoyed today's video. If you did, please do me a huge favor and smash that thumbs up button. I'd really appreciate it. If you want to see more videos like this, be sure to subscribe to the channel, hit that alert button so you're notified each time I upload a video. If you know a fellow bro who would benefit from watching today's video, please do me a favor and share it with them. Before you go, don't forget to download your free guide, Lose Fat, Get Jacked. Have yourself an amazing day. Catch you next video.